It's the one thing that drives every single person in this hobby crazy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You go out, you buy the fancy bottle of fertilizer, it's got a nice green label, you follow the instructions perfectly,
To the milliliter.
and a week later, your plants are still just melting. It feels like you need a chemistry degree to grow a simple Java fern.
It's a classic pain point. And, the issue usually isn't that the product is bad. It's that we treat them like magic potions.
Yeah, just pour this in and you get a green box.
Exactly. But the sources we looked at for this deep dive all agree on one thing.
Which is?
Aquaristics is not mathematics. There is no single perfect dosing scheme.
So it's not about the brand name then? It's not about Tetra versus Seacham?
Not at all. It's about the philosophy inside the bottle. And you're basically choosing between two camps. Stability or control.
Okay, let's break that down.
Yeah.
Stability sounds safe. That's the all-in-one bottle, right? The Tetra approach.
That's the one. These formulas use really strong chemical stabilizers. They're called chelates. Think of a chelate as like a tiny protective claw that holds on to the nutrient.
Okay.
It stops it from breaking down too fast in the water. It just releases it slowly over a week, sometimes longer. It's designed so you really can't mess it up.
That sounds perfect. So why would anyone not choose that? Why would you buy the Seacham line with like 5 different bottles for everything?
Because you're trading that safety for performance. The pro lines, they often ditch those strong stabilizers. Let's take iron. That's the perfect example.
All right.
Tetra's iron uses a super stable chelate. It just hangs out. Seacham's Flourish iron, on the other hand, uses ferrous gluconate.
Gluconate.
But
That sounds like glucose. Is that sugar-based?
it essentially is. It's a much weaker bond. It's like pure candy for plants. They can absorb it almost instantly.
Oh, wow.
You know those super red plants you see in pictures? Gluconate is what makes them pop. But there's a catch.
Of course there is.
Because it's organic, the bacteria in your filter love it too. They eat it, so it degrades incredibly fast.
So wait a minute. If I buy that Pro Iron and I dose it once a week, like the beginner bottle?
You're starving your plants.
Yep. Yeah.
By day 2, maybe day 3, almost all of that iron is gone.
So you're signing up for a daily dosing routine?
Daily, or every other day at least.
Yeah.
You trade convenience for that immediate uptake.
That is a massive difference that is not clear on the label. And the sources pointed out something even riskier with nitrogen.
Ah, yes. The nitrogen bottle.
I just assumed nitrogen was, nitrogen.
You'd think so. But if you look at the ingredients on Seacham nitrogen, it's a mix. It's potassium nitrate and urea, also called carbamide.
Urea, hold on. Urea breaks down into ammonia, doesn't it? Isn't that like rule number 1 of fish keeping? Never add ammonia.
This is where context is absolutely everything. If you pour urea into a brand new tank with a few new plants,
Algae City.
you are begging for an algae bloom. The plants aren't established enough to use it, so the algae just takes over.
In a mature tank.
In a mature, revved up, planted tank. The plants bypass the breakdown. They consume that amide nitrogen directly. It's like an energy drink for them. They love it. But you have to know your tank's maturity.
Which is why just copying a pro's dosing chart can completely wreck a beginner's tank.
Exactly.
Speaking of revving things up, I saw a mention of something called phytohormones in Seacham Advance. Is that just marketing?
Not entirely. Think of it less as a fertilizer and more as makeup for your plants.
Makeup.
It's a growth stimulant. Aquascapers use it to help new plants root faster, or they'll dose it right before a photo shoot to improve the habitus. Habitus? It's just the overall look, the fullness of the plant. It makes them look fatter and healthier for the picture. It's purely aesthetic.
Interesting. Okay, I want to get to the most technical aha moment from the sources. This is for all of you using reverse osmosis water.
Right, the people who are mixing their own minerals.
There's apparently a hidden trap in some fertilizers that involves salt.
Specifically, sodium. A common chelator used in some fertilizers is called Trilon B. And Trilon B contains sodium.
So if you're dosing a lot, the sodium builds up.
It builds up. And here's the problem. It creates what's called an antagonism with potassium.
So it blocks the good stuff.
It literally blocks it. The plant's cells get confused. The sodium ions physically get in the way of the channels that absorb potassium. It's like someone standing in a doorway and won't move.
So you could be dosing plenty of potassium, but your plants are still deficient because the sodium is in the way.
Precisely. That's why sometimes advanced users have to actually overdose potassium just to push past all the sodium. It all comes back to ratios.
Like the Redfield ratio for nitrates and phosphate.
Exactly. The sources even warn you to keep your iron dosing low compared to phosphates, like a 1:10 ratio, or you risk getting really nasty algae like Spirogyra.
So if we pull this all together, the perfect dosing schedule you see on a forum.
It doesn't exist. The best scheme is the one you develop by watching your plants in your tank. And always, always start small.
Right. It's much easier to fix a deficiency than an overdose.
An algae outbreak from an overdose is infinitely harder to clean up.
Which brings us to a final sort of provocative thought to leave everyone with.
Right. So if these premium fertilizers are often just made of standard lab chemicals, potassium, sulfate, urea, things you can buy in bulk for practically nothing.
At what point are we just paying for the fancy bottle?
At what point does the premium brand just become expensive packaging for high school chemistry?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for listening.